You had someone ask you to sell their house, or you're getting ready for that listing appointment and you want to make sure that when you get there, you know how to fill out a listing agreement properly. In this video, I'm going to be going through a listing contract and teaching you how to fill it out correctly. My name is Frank Kritzman. I'm a former Air Force EOD, and now I'm a real estate agent on the beautiful Emerald Coast of Florida. I'm getting my team started, and I'm making it my mission to help you get your real estate license and become successful in real estate. This is the listing contract we use here in Florida, so if you live in a different state, this is probably not going to apply. This is the form that you're going to want to use when you need to get a listing agreement signed. You can find the form number by scrolling down to the bottom of the page. And the form number is right here. It's the ERS 18TN. Okay, this is an exclusive right of sale listing agreement. The thing that makes this one a little bit different is that it has a consent to transition to a transaction broker built right into it. So in the event that happens, you don't need another form. It's all right here. Before we get too deep into this, the required items that you're going to need is the names of the parties, the property description, expiration date, sales price, and some kind of commission percentage that you guys have agreed on. I've sat through some really long contracts class, so I'm going to break this one down super easy and simple. First line right here, seller. This is the owner of the property. To get the full legal name for the sellers, you want to go to the county property appraiser website, search their address, and then find their deed. The full name for the owners is going to be on the deed. So before you go for that listing appointment, you want to get onto the property appraiser website and do some research and figure out who the correct owner is. Broker right here, that is the company name. So for us, it's going to be Keller Williams Emerald Coast. Then right here on line 6, you have a start date and you have to have some kind of termination date. I usually do at least 6 months out. The sellers can cancel the contract at any time, but if you do it 6 months out, then you don't have to do paperwork again, just in case something falls through and process is delayed and it takes longer than expected. Okay, street address, obviously this is the address of the property. Legal description, that is going to be in meets and bounds format or the lot and block format. And so to find that, that's also going to be on the property appraiser website. So search the address on the appraiser website. On the deed, it'll show either meets and bounds or lot and block. If the legal description is too long and doesn't fit on these two lines right here, what you can do is put it in the additional comments section. So if it's too long and you want the legal description in the additional comments, just write in here, see additional comments. Personal property is usually going to be left blank unless the seller is selling the home furnished. Occupancy is referring to a lease, so if they have a renter in the home or not, you just do is or is not occupied by a tenant. Line 22 is purchase price. That is whatever you guys decide to list the property at. Financing terms, that is usually cash, conventional, VA, or FHA. Don't stress out about this section. You can leave this whole portion right here blank. Later on down the road, if the seller does want to have somebody assume their mortgage, or if they want to do seller financing, that is an option to them. You just have to write that into the offer. Section 4 is broker obligations. Just says that we're going to make continued efforts to try to sell the property. Obviously, we're going to do our best to get that done. Section 5 right here, multiple listing service. It just talks about what the MLS is and how it benefits the seller. Then you want to come down here to section 6, broker authority. You don't want to check this box on 58, and you do not want to check this box on 60. This one says seller does not authorize the broker to display the property on the MLS. You do want them to display the property on the MLS, so do not check either one of those boxes. These initial spots on line 65, have the seller sign those. That is just an acknowledgement statement. That's all. Okay, these 3 boxes right here, 1, 2, 3. You want to make sure you get all these. This box allows you to use a lockbox with the property. Make sure you discuss that with the seller and how exactly you guys want to go about doing that. Then this box right here, withhold all verbal offers and withhold all offers once the seller accepts a contract for the property. These 2 boxes right here help us manage the emotions throughout the transaction. If somebody gives you a verbal offer, what you want to do is just say, hey, send that over to me on a written contract and we'll talk. All right, scrolling down to line 80 and 82, you don't have to check either one of those boxes. Right here, section 102 for material defects, You can leave that blank for now and just have your seller fill out a standard seller disclosure form. Section 8, compensation. This is where you're going to have the total commission percentage for the transaction. You're going to put that total percent right there, and then you can leave this blank and this blank, or just put NA and NA right here. And same for lines 112 and 115. You either leave those blank or just put NA. Line 122, this protection period, this protects the agents. Normally I put 60 days right here. It just gives us some protection in case the seller wants to cancel with us and then immediately go under contract with somebody that we talked to during the time that we had an active listing agreement. Line 127, the percentage of retained deposits. Usually this is going to be 0. This is in case the buyer defaults and the deposit goes back to the seller. I don't like to be greedy and take a percentage of that deposit. I just prefer that it all goes back to the seller, and then we can get back on the market and get rocking and rolling. Section 9, compensation with other brokers. This is what you are agreeing to pay other agents when they bring you a buyer for your listing. What you want to do is check this box and this box and this box right here. Then put in the percentage amount that you are going to be offering to the buyer's agent. And just keep in mind, whatever number you put in there for that percentage that's going to the buyer, that is the same number that you're going to put in the MLS listing. Section 11, this is the conditional termination. This is the paragraph that allows the seller to cancel at any time if they want to. You can put a cancellation fee in here. I typically don't put anything in there because I don't want someone to feel like they're trapped with me. If they really don't want to work with me, then they don't want to work with me. Let's just shake hands and part ways and call it a day. Section 12, this is the dispute resolution. This is just an acknowledgement, kind of explaining how the process would work in case there was a mediation. Just need initials there because it's just a disclosure of how it works. Then you scroll down to additional terms, section 14. If there was anything else that you and the seller talked about, then you would put that in here. Also, back in the beginning, if I said the legal description didn't fit in that section up top, you would put that legal description right down here, just somewhere on the lines. Usually if it's a meets and bounds, then the description is very long and you might have to use up a few lines in here. This last section is pretty self-explanatory. Just have the seller sign it, and then your broker and you also sign it, and then you're done. Once you get this agreement signed, you have 24 hours to get it uploaded into the MLS. Then you just have to get pictures and do all your advertising, get it posted, and run your showings and hopefully get an offer. This is a very exciting step of the process, but it is not the end of the road at all. There's still lots to do. So if you want to know what happens next, I made this video that goes over what happens after you get an offer accepted.